We have some D-men that have to step into bigger roles. So it's always a movement within the team and within the depth charts, and ultimately as a group and as how you gel as a team. Like, that's equally as important as just, yeah, things can look great on paper and you're thinking, oh, this is just going to go, they're just going to take off where they left off, right? So it doesn't work that way, and that's, in my opinion, why I think hockey is the greatest sport, because it can change in a heartbeat, and it could be one guy here or one guy there, and then all of a sudden nothing works, right? And that's kind of what it is. It takes a little bit of time, but I feel like we're getting closer and closer. And as you were saying earlier, like, I thought that Rangers game was probably one of our more complete efforts on the year, and we obviously need those more consistently. But I think the fact that we're getting better as the year goes on is the big important thing right here.
Is the building process part of what makes it a team good? A team that doesn't panic, a team that realizes how to build, when to build, the pace at which you build.
I think so. I honestly do. And I look back at last year, I'm not sure we go on that run without that start, just because you learn so much about yourself. I'm not saying I wouldn't have loved to start like Winnipeg, but at the same time, going through these things early rather than go on a hot streak for 6 months and then the last month of the year before the playoffs, you're starting to struggle and you don't really know, oh, what do we do now? But last year, I thought we went through every bit of adversity that we could, and we learned a lot about each other and what we need to do as a group to be successful. And hopefully this is that time for this group, and that we didn't have to go maybe as deep as we did last year. And hopefully we're turning the corner here and getting some that we've learned enough, and because it's easy when everything is going right. I mean, when things are going against you and when adversity hits, that's when you learn about yourself, about your teammates, and how you're going to respond as a group. And if you look at last year, I think the responding part was what got us where we went. So I think it is a big part of it. I think it is a building process, and I'm not saying I always. I mean, I'd obviously rather start 20-0 if I could every year, but at the same time, I think that there's value going through these lessons.
I wanted to ask about Stuart Skinner and just his kind of inconsistency. Is that more of a reflection of the team than the goalie himself? Like, you guys, you know, when you guys play well in front of him, he plays well, kind of back and forth type thing. Just what are your thoughts?
I think it's a responsibility on everybody. Yeah. Absolutely. Have I seen goalies steal games? Absolutely. Have I seen a team steal a game in front of a goalie? Absolutely. That's just what it is sometimes. But usually you want that to work in tandem, and you want everybody to be working together to keep that, obviously, goals against low. But as you said, I think that actually absolutely works in tandem, and I think that it's just as much as on us to give him looks that he's comfortable with having as much as you can. Obviously, there's going to happen things out there, and you can't control that all the time, but to the big extent that he can be predictable with his movements and knowing where the pucks usually come from.